8 o'clock in the morning, April 16th, 1947, Texas City, Texas. The Gulf air is thick and salt bright. Longshoremen move along the docks. School children walk morning streets. Coffee is still hot. This is Texas City on a Tuesday, the last ordinary morning anyone will remember. Texas City is a port town of 16,000 to 18,000 souls. This Tuesday morning, April 15th, 1947, it hums with the ordinary machinery of commerce, labor, and daily American life. Down at Pier O, the SS Grandcamp, a 437-foot French Liberty ship, sits heavy in the water. Her hold smells wrong. A thin ribbon of smoke curls steadily up from below decks. Nobody on that dock yet understands what the smoke means. Nobody yet understands that 2,300 short tons of ammonium nitrate are already beginning to cook in the sealed darkness below. By 9:12 this morning, 581 people will be dead. 113 of them will never be found at all. Not a trace, not a name, not a bone. To understand Texas City in 1947, to understand why it happened here, why it happened now, why it happened at all, you first have to understand what the war had made of it. The Second World War turned this small Gulf Coast community into one of the busiest ports in the American South. Larger, louder, more industrialized, more vital to the nation's supply lines than anyone had imagined. By the late 1940s, the port was handling 2,500 ships every year. 9 piers, 11 warehouses, a grain elevator standing tall above the waterline. The infrastructure was industrial, relentless, and proud. Texas City had survived the Great Depression and the Second World War. It believed, reasonably, that the worst was behind it. It had no reason to think otherwise. Texas City sits on Galveston Bay, flat, open, fully exposed to the Gulf. No hills to hide behind, no ridgelines, no natural shelter of any the kind of geography that offers nowhere to hide. The refineries and chemical plants pressed right up against the docks. The Monsanto chemical plant stood just 300 feet from the berth where the Grandcamp would tie up. 300 feet, one football field. Workers, families, and industry were woven together without seam or buffer. On April 11, 1947, the SS Grandcamp arrived at Texas City, a 437-foot French Liberty ship, one of thousands built during the war, now repurposed for peacetime commerce. Over the following days, longshoremen loaded the Grandcamp's hold number 4 with ammonium nitrate fertilizer, bag by bag, layer by layer. By April 14th, 2,300 short tons were stacked below decks. Ammonium nitrate was not, in 1947, widely understood as a catastrophic explosive. It was fertilizer. It was surplus. The United States government had produced enormous quantities of ammonium nitrate during the war to make explosives. The war was over. Now the surplus was repackaged and shipped abroad to rebuild shattered European and Asian farmland. The bags were stacked in hold number 4, layer on layer. Some were torn, some were damp. The hold was not ventilated for the Texas Gulf heat. Every condition required for catastrophe was already in place. On the evening of April 15th, loading stopped because of rain. The hatch was sealed. The hold went dark. Somewhere inside, conditions that investigators would argue about for years, a fire began. The most likely cause, a smoldering cigarette, a careless moment in a hold full of oxidizer. The stage was set. Texas City did not know it yet, but the clock had started.
Smoke down
At approximately
here!
8 o'clock on the morning of April 16th, longshoremen descended into hold number 4. They found smoke, not flames, smoke. A slow chemical smolder moving through stacked. The instinct was immediate. Get water on it.
No water.
But the captain of
Not
the
on my
Grandcamp,
cargo.
Charles de Guillebon, gave a
Not
different
on my
order.
cargo.
Eyewitnesses record him
Not on
stating
my cargo.
in intelligible English that he did
No
not
water.
want water on the fire.
Not on
It
my
would ruin
cargo.
the cargo. Cargo. 2,300 short tons of fertilizer, a French cargo contract. Hold number 4 was sealed. Steam was pumped in to smother the fire without touching the cargo. A captain protecting the shipment, a decision that would kill hundreds of people before 9:15 that morning. The steam system was not designed for a fire of this chemistry. Ammonium nitrate does not need oxygen to burn. It carries its own oxidizer. Sealing the hold trapped the heat. Steam accelerated decomposition. The temperature inside hold number 4 climbed toward the detonation threshold. The crew and the dock workers and the fire department all operated under the same assumption. They were managing a contained cargo fire. Stevedores were ordered off the ship at around 8:30 as the situation worsened. Ammunition in the cargo hold threatened to cook off, but by then, the Grandcamp was already a bomb. At approximately 9 o'clock in the morning, orange-yellow smoke began pouring from the Grandcamp. It was unlike anything the dock workers had ever seen. The color was wrong. The smell was wrong. A crowd gathered on the pier and along the waterfront to watch. This, too, would kill people. The Texas City Fire Department received the alarm. All 28 members responded, led by Chief Henry J. Baumgartner. To Pier O, 28 men. The entire department. Every last one of them.
Man.
Chief Henry J. Baumgartner led them all down to the dock to fight what they believed was a ship fire. They did not know what was inside that hold. Nobody had told them. The manifest said fertilizer. They had no reason to believe that fertilizer detonates. What the cargo actually was versus what everyone around it believed it to be. Two realities, one hold. That gap, invisible, unreported, uncorrected, is the hidden flaw at the center of the Texas City disaster. Not one failure, not one villain, a system-wide failure of information, regulation, and assumption. A flaw hidden inside bags marked fertilizer, inside a hold marked sealed, inside a morning that looked just like any other morning in Texas City. That is how catastrophe conceals itself, wearing ordinary labels. 9:12 a.m., April 16, 1947. The Grandcamp detonates, not a loud noise, a physical event. It rewrites Texas City in a fraction of a second, heard 150 miles. A mushroom cloud rises 2,000 feet into the Gulf sky. The Grandcamp's 2-ton anchor is hurled 1.62 miles from the pier, landing in a 10-foot crater. A 15-foot tsunami wave surges across the harbor. The harbor does not survive. The 2,000-foot radius around Pier O becomes a zone of utter destruction. Buildings do not collapse, they cease to exist. The Monsanto chemical plant, 300 feet from the Grandcamp's berth, is obliterated. Of 574 Monsanto employees and contractors present that morning, 234 are killed. The building obliterated, the workers inside it gone, all of them in the same moment. 28 firefighters arrived at Pier O under Chief Henry J. Baumgartner. 27 of 28 are killed at 9:12 a.m. The entire department gone in a single instant, Chief Baumgartner among them. The crowd that gathered to watch the orange smoke is dead. Dock workers, dead. People on the street, 2,000 feet from Pier O, dead. Windows shatter across the city of Galveston. The shockwave is felt in Houston, 40 miles away. Texas City, in the space of one catastrophic morning, has become a different place. And it is not over. In the minutes after 9:12, Texas City tries to comprehend what has happened to it. The air hangs thick with debris and a strange chemical haze. The Monsanto plant is burning. Waterfront warehouses are burning. Small craft in the harbor are on fire or capsized or both. People standing a quarter mile from the blast are wounded. Those who were indoors are under rubble, buried beneath collapsed walls and ceilings. The injured number 5,000 or more across the city. 2,000 people are left homeless.
Over here!
The rescue begins with whoever is still standing. Longshoremen, off-duty workers, ordinary residents. They move toward the fire and the wreckage, because that is what people do. Texas City Fire Department no longer exists. 27 of the fire department's 28 members are dead. Mutual aid arrives from Galveston and Houston, but Texas City is on its own in those first critical hours, and every minute counts. Meanwhile, in the harbor, a second ship is burning. The SS High Flyer, moored nearby, was carrying 961 tons of ammonium nitrate and 1,800 tons of sulfur. The High Flyer had been set ablaze by debris from the Grandcamp explosion. Port officials and salvage crews understood immediately what a second detonation would mean. An attempt was made to tow the High Flyer out of the harbor, away from the burning dock. At 11 o'clock that evening, nearly 14 hours after the first explosion, lines were attached. The tugs strained and pulled. The High Flyer moved 100 feet, and then the cable snapped. 100 feet. That is all they gained. The crew abandoned the effort and withdrew. There was nothing else to do but wait and keep people back. Rescue workers who had spent hours laboring inside the 2,000-foot blast radius were warned to pull back. Some heard the warning. Some moved in time. Some did not hear it at all. At 1:10 in the morning on April 17th, the High Flyer detonated. The second explosion compounded the destruction of the first. Fires that had been partially controlled reignited. Areas that had escaped the worst of the morning blast were struck again. Nowhere was safe. The casualty count, already catastrophic, grew. In the days that followed, the full scope came into terrible focus. 581 confirmed dead, 113 missing and never recovered, 405 identified, 5,000 or more injured. The numbers accumulate with the particular horror of industrial catastrophe. Not random, not natural. The disaster was not an accident of nature. It was the product of decisions made by real people, in offices, on ship decks, and inside government warehouses. Deliberate choices, documented, filed away. Decisions that placed 2,300 short tons of explosive-grade ammonium nitrate 300 feet from a chemical plant and 2 blocks from a residential neighborhood. Signed, approved, never once questioned. On April 17th, Texas Governor Beaufort Jester issued a proclamation declaring the disaster a state emergency and directing all available resources to Texas City. The military sent personnel. The Red Cross, blood donors lined up in Houston and Galveston. The response was genuine and it was large, but in many places it arrived too late. The property damage alone reached $100 million. $100 million in 1947 represented the near total economic destruction of a working-class port city. Texas City had built itself up over decades, built it brick by brick, gone in 16 hours. The harbor infrastructure, the chemical plant, the warehouses, the grain elevator, the entire commercial skeleton of Texas City reduced to rubble. Do the math. 1 ship, 1 hold, 1 morning of fire. 1 decision not to use water. 9 piers, 11 warehouses, 1 Monsanto plant. 581 dead. History records the numbers. The people who lived through it record something else. Ernestine Garza Moreno was 17 years old on the morning of April 16th. She was walking to school, down a street that ran beside the harbor, ordinary and unhurried, unaware of what was coming. She lived at the corner of Dock Road and 3rd Street. Close, very close to the pier. The kind of close that meant when something happened at the harbor, you heard it first, then felt it. She later described the moment the Grandcamp detonated in words that have not dimmed in the decades since. I was walking to school that day. We lived at the corner of Dock Road and 3rd Street. When I felt the first blast, by the grace of God, I cried out, "Save me," and threw a coat over me. When I finally got up, everyone around was dead except for me. She survived. She did not know why. The people standing next to her did not. Billy Bell Lambert was 12 years old. Her house collapsed on her. She lay pinned, 5-inch cut on her forehead, 6-inch cut to the bone on her leg, glass throughout her body, 4 cut toes. She survived. She and Ernestine Garza Moreno later described their injuries together in terms both direct and devastating. Ernestine and I were chopped up like hamburgers. Julio Luna Jr. was a longshoreman, and he had been at the pier. The blast blew his car into a ditch. He climbed out, turned around, and spent that day and the next rescuing survivors and recovering the dead. He did not go home. He went back to the pier. Bob Roten witnessed the disaster. He later became chief operating officer of Monsanto and spent the rest of his career building the safety culture that Texas City had lacked. The witness became the architect. Roten described the lesson simply. They erred on the side of extreme caution, and you cannot go wrong with that. 4 people, 4 kinds of survival, 1 shared lesson written in fire and luck. The disaster happened not to abstractions, but to a 17-year-old girl walking to school, a 12-year-old in a collapsing house, a longshoreman in a ditch, workers who would carry it always. In the weeks and months after the disaster, Texas City buried its dead and began the long argument about who was responsible. It was a question the city had earned the right to ask. The question was not difficult to frame. The United States government had manufactured the ammonium nitrate. The United States government had repackaged it. The United States government had sold it and facilitated its shipment. Before the fire, before the explosion, federal agencies had been warned that ammonium nitrate in bulk could detonate. The warnings existed. The years before April 1947 held the proof. They were not acted upon. 8,485 plaintiffs filed suit against the federal government, the first major class action under the Federal Tort Claims Act, passed in 1946, 1 year before the disaster. The legal theory was straightforward. The government had been negligent. On April 13, 1950, a federal district court agreed. It had taken 3 years to bring the first major Federal Tort Claims Act case to ruling. 168 named government agencies found negligent in the manufacture, storage, and shipment of the ammonium nitrate. Damages were awarded. 3 years of grief and argument, and Texas City finally had its verdict. It did not keep it. The government appealed. On June 8, 1953, the United States Supreme Court reversed, 4 votes to 3. Dale Height versus United States, 346 U.S. 15, the ruling that would define the outer limit of government accountability. The court held that the government's decisions about the ammonium nitrate were discretionary functions. The majority ruled, policy judgments are shielded from tort liability under the Federal Tort Claims Act. The government cannot be sued for decisions that killed 581 people. 3 justices dissented. The survivors and the families of the dead received nothing. The legal mechanism they had trusted for 7 years had closed. Congress eventually acted. In 1955 and 1956, Congress passed Public Law 378, authorizing a settlement of $16.5 million to be distributed among 8,485 plaintiffs. Divided across 8,485 claimants, it came to a few $1,000s per family. For the death of a spouse, a parent, a child, a few $1,000s. Texas City rebuilt. The port reopened. The chemical industry returned. The same waterfront where the Grandcamp had detonated was, within a few years, busy again. The physical city recovered faster than the human one. The disaster reshaped American industrial safety law, but slowly and at great cost. Texas City did not become a landmark of American memory. No famous photograph, no single iconic image in the national consciousness. What it produced was a body of law and a set of industrial safety standards. And a generation of survivors who knew what negligence at scale actually looked like. The Federal Tort Claims Act was tested here. tested against the weight of 581 dead, and found by the Supreme Court to be a shield for the government rather than a remedy for citizens. That 4-3 ruling in Dale Height versus United States remained a foundational precedent for decades, shaping what ordinary Americans could recover when federal negligence caused catastrophic harm. The industrial safety implications were immediate. After Texas City, the chemical industry reclassified ammonium nitrate, not merely fertilizer, but a hazardous material demanding specific storage, handling, and transportation protocols. The proximity of chemical plants to 300 feet. That gap between the Monsanto plant and the Grandcamp's birth, a number no one questioned before April 1947, became the exact kind of siting decision that industrial regulations now exist. Bob Roten's formulation holds: err on the side of extreme caution. 27 firefighters died because the information system failed them. Sent to a ship fire, no one told them the hold contained a substance that no amount of water or steam could safely suppress. The lesson is now embedded in hazardous materials. Response protocols across the country. One ship, one hold, one captain's decision to seal it. The people on the front line must know what they face. The consequences ran forward in time for decades, through the lawsuits, through the Supreme Court, through Congress, through every single hazmat regulation written in the shadow of Texas City. 581 dead. 113 never found. 5,000 injured. $100 million in damage. One lesson, written in the most expensive ink there is. Texas City did not fail because of one person or one mistake. It failed because a system of assumptions, regulations, and incentives allowed 2,300 short tons of ammonium nitrate to sit 300 feet from a chemical plant, 2 blocks from a girl walking to class. The captain protected his cargo. The government protected its policy. The court protected the government. Texas City paid for all of it. 581 confirmed dead, 113 never found. An entire fire department gone before 9:15 in the morning of April 16, 1947. Do not let the numbers become abstract. They were people,